Hi, welcome to 15th part of our series. Today we are discussing a result of the collision of Proto-Mars with Proto-Earth 3.5 billion years ago. As we have already said, the Proto-Mars was the largest piece of the original Mars in the proto-solar system, which was dismembered by Saturn, during its flyby after the smashing of the Andreas star. This Proto-Mars hit the Earth shortly afterwards, and from this collision our Moon was formed. But the Earth itself also had serious problems after this collision. Today we are discussing the most important dynamic consequence of this collision for the Earth itself. This consequence is the so-called plate tectonics, which until now was only discovered on Earth. When two large bodies, with a certain internal structure, collide, then this structure is partially altered. So let us imagine the situation for 3.5 billion years. The Proto-Earth was hit by the Proto-Mars. The two bodies were heavily modified. But the impact might not have been as central as shown here, as the Proto-Earth and Proto-Mars circled around the Sun on their orbits in a common plane, the ecliptic. Therefore, one must rather suspect an oblique angle of impact. But regardless of the angle, the Earth's interior has been set in motion, and that is the most important thing for our further consideration today. Much of the core of Proto-Mars has flowed into the interior of the Earth. That is why the Earth today has the largest core of all four terrestrial planets, and Mars has almost none at all. Mars today has the mass density similar to that of the Moon. This flow has created a vibration of the Earth's core along the Earth's axis. Since then, the heavy core has been swinging regularly towards one of the two poles of the Earth's axis, which alternately leads to a pear-shaped deformation of the Earth's surface. This deformation can be seen on the surface of the Earth as the oscillation of the plates of the Earth's crust. These movements of the Earth's plates are called plate tectonics. This oscillation has not completely subsided. Some of the plates even shift by a few centimeters per year relative to each other. The plates of the Earth's crust are separated from each other by trench, cracks and depressions. We can imagine the vibrations in such a way that we have a bell, with the Earth core as the heart of the bell, and the semi-elastic mantle of the Earth as the skin of the bell. We can imagine the main vibration as a cube in a sphere. The 8 corners of the cube always remain on the surface of the Earth, while the whole cube swings with the Earth core. To prove this vibration, we must be able to find these 8 proto-cratons, as they are called by geophysicists, on the real surface of the Earth. These corners of the vibrational cube will never immerse themselves in the Earth's interior, they will always remain flat on the surface. Only around them can a ring of mountains develop after some time. The current location of these 8 original cratons can be seen on this world map. The numbering is, of course, quite arbitrary. The 8th original craton in French Polynesia was only discovered by me because he has been hiding under the waters of the Pacific since the end of the last ice age. Let us see the list of the original cratons here. The 6 midpoints of the 6 surfaces of the vibrational cube are also very distinctive points of the Earth's surface. These are particularly vulnerable to deep earthquakes. The true cause of plate tectonics has not been found in traditional geophysics to date. Another view of these movements of the plates of the Earth's crust we see here and in the following illustrations. We see that the oscillation is currently pressed closer together in the northern hemisphere. The proto-cratons are closer to each other. Southern hemisphere is significantly extended. The southern proto-cratons are much closer to the equator and far from each other. From the same reason is also the eighth, the missing continent of the Earth, hidden under the waters of the Pacific. The same can be seen more vividly when we take into account the slope of the Earth's axis. At the moment, the Earth's core is back on its way north. The vibrational cube will become regular again. The northern primordial cratons pull their own continents apart. The North Pole will emerge from the sea. On the other hand, we see the sinking Antarctica back into the ocean, and the southern primordial cratons with their continents will also move south. We can imagine the interior of the Earth as a heavy sphere hanging on a feather. Nevertheless, even from such a simplified model we can estimate the vibration period of plate tectonics. From the unified family we know that the force is equal to the universal circulation times quantum size, the Hooke's law. The mass of the Earth's core was determined as 32% of the Earth's mass, which gives about 4 million years for the oscillation period of the Earth's plates. This results in a relative shift of the Earth's plates to each other by several hundred kilometers in a cycle. However, the fact that all the continents of the Earth should have gathered in their history to a single continent, such as the Pangaea, is rather excluded according to this new, unified model. Finally, we can take a look at an example of how the North American continent will split along the yellow lines in the next millions of years, while Mexico will migrate to the equator. That's all for today. Thank you for your attention, and I hope we will meet again next week. Bye bye.